Hello, it's layperson Lisa with a reflection on the readings for Sunday of the sixth Sunday in Ordinary Time, Year B. And I want to talk today about St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians, where he says that everything we do should glorify God. And St. Paul is one of my favorites. He was like this rotten guy. He persecuted the followers of Jesus. He was instrumental in the murder of several of them. And yet he had this encounter with Jesus. And that encounter changed his life. When I read that everything we're called to do is to glorify God, it made me think, am I? And the answer was no. I recently was in a situation where I kind of felt beat down. I kind of felt discouraged, frustrated, angry by what was going on around me and what people were saying. And so I turned inward. I did not go to the Lord in my time of trouble and find joy in salvation, in his salvation. I turned inward and got angry and frustrated. And I was not glorifying God. It's like Jesus is like the helium that just is inside the balloon and he lifts us up. But when we don't turn to him in our times of trouble, then we let the helium out and we just sink inward. And that's what happened to me. So I was not being a vessel. I kind of deflated the environment, but we're called to be a thermostat in our environment, to bring God's love, to bring God's joy, to bring God's peace to our environments. And St. Paul, he faced some pretty harsh conditions. He was shipwrecked a bunch of times. He was beaten a bunch of times. He was imprisoned. And yet, what was he doing during these circumstances? He kept his eyes focused on Jesus and was continuously encouraging others. He was continuously uplifting others. Yet what do we do when we're struggling? In our brokenness, we tend to tear down others. We tend to compare ourselves to others. And this could lead us to gossip and to judge. And that is not who God calls us to be. That does not bring any glory to him. That just we're doing that to bring the glory to ourselves. And St. Paul, he had this perseverance, this endurance to just keep glorifying Jesus, to keep spreading his truth and his word, and that is what we are called to do. Also in the letter, he says that he does not do anything, he does things to please people, and what he means by that is that he intentionally focuses on Jesus so that his actions don't take away from Jesus, so that how he responds does not take away from Jesus. Kind of just like a knife in the heart, like I am totally allowing situations to trouble me. I'm not going to Jesus. I'm going inward. That does not glorify him. That does not glorify him to the people around me. And so this was just totally eye-opening, that we are called to be these vessels of joy, to go to God during this trouble and just like, okay, Lord, help me to keep my eyes focused on you so that I may continue, despite how I may be feeling inside, to choose the way of love. And, choosing the way of love, when we think about it, it's so easy. But yet we don't, at least for myself, like I often fail at this because, oh, well, this situation is making me angry. I'm just going to focus on my anger instead of like, okay, this situation, it's not ideal, but God, I come to you, show me the path of love in this situation so that I may make the choice that will glorify God. And today in the gospel, we hear something that it was repeated last weekend, how the people kept coming to him from everywhere. But are we coming to him every time? Every time, in every moment, are we coming to him? Or are we turning inward? And so I invite you to open your hearts, open your minds, open your whole soul to making the choice of love, to running to God in our times of trouble, to always seek him everywhere.